welcome to Smashterpieces, a casual walk through the history of the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate roster. My name is Joe.
And I am the Puzzle Master.
And if you're new here, what we are doing on this show is we are playing one game for every character in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate from 1984's Duck Hunt to 2019's Fire Emblem Three Houses. And today's episode is about the game that is representing fighter number 24, Mewtwo. It is the 2000 Nintendo 64 game, Pokémon Puzzle League. So, Puzzle Master, please tell us about Pokémon Puzzle League.
Well, this game's great. So it is a version of Panel de Pon, which I believe we talked about that on the pre-show, right?
I think so. Basically, it is Panel de Pon, which when it came to America was reskinned into Tetris Attack, and then they reskinned it into a couple other things, including this game, Pokémon Puzzle League, which only came out here. It did not come out in America, or in Japan.
And good luck playing this game if you don't already own it, because it was not released on Virtual Console. Well, no, it was released on Virtual Console, but not on Wii U, only on Wii, and that's gone now.
Yep. That's where I first played it, actually. I had bought it a long time ago on a Wii that I don't have anymore.
I do believe that there is some version of Panel de Pon on the Nintendo Switch Online, though. It won't be Pokemon Puzzle League, but it will be Panel de Pon.
It is literally just the first game, Panel de Pon, the one that we reskinned into Tetris Attack when it came out in America.
So you will not be able to play Panel de Pon with a Pokemon skin, but you can play Panel de Pon.
But you've also been experiencing Panel de Pon adjacent things since, like, Melee, because Lipstick has been an item in Smash since Melee. That is from Panel de Pon. That is the wand of the main character. What's her name? I forget. Lip. Duh, it's in the name of the thing.
Yeah.
That is the wand of the main character, Lip. She's a magical girl. And yeah, that's a thing that's been in Smash not since day one, but essentially from like day two.
And one of Kirby's down B transformations is into a garbage block from Panel de Pon.
I've never put two and two together. It totally is, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, that's really cool. I've never thought about that. Neat. So, why don't you, since you put 500 hours into the game over the course of a month, why don't you explain to the children what the game is?
So, Panel de Pon is an action puzzle game, as they are called, where it's sort of a reverse Tetris in a way where the blocks are rising from the bottom instead of coming down from the top, but they are effectively all there as they're coming up. And rather than placing them in particular spots, you're swapping two blocks with each other to move them around. And you can swap a block with the empty space next to it. And gravity is real. So if you move a block over, then it will fall down.
That's a lesson for life too, children.
Yes. And if you match three blocks together, either horizontal or vertical, then those three blocks will disappear, and gravity happens and the blocks above them fall down. If the act of those blocks falling down happens to make another three blocks line up, then you've just made a chain. And that's pretty much the basics.
So yeah, it's a puzzle game. You switch the blocks, you get rid of the blocks. And you lose if it goes to the top. Like if it goes past the top at a certain amount or for a certain amount of time.
Yeah, it depends on like the level. In the 1v1 mode, which most of the 1P Stadium for Pokemon Puzzle League is based off of, then you have like a couple seconds of it being stuck there to sort of save yourself before it loses. But I believe when you're playing the Marathon mode, which is the traditional Panel de Pon mode, then the moment it hits the top, you're done.
So yeah, you put an unconscionable amount of time into this game. Like we're talking 3, 5.5 to 7 hour streams.
It's a good game, Joe.
It is a good game, but I capped out after 6. 6 hours.
I wanted to keep playing, and what was I gonna do? Beat Mewtwo off stream?
Maybe. Speaking of though, you did what we have been saying up to this point was like the one goal that we assuredly were not going to do, and you did it twice. on the 2 highest difficulties.
Yes.
And like both times, how long did it take you to beat Mewtwo on very hard?
It took some time. I want to say it took at least a full stream of like trying, I think.
I want to make sure people know this is without save states. Wii Virtual Console did not have save states. That was an addition on Wii U.
So every time you lost to Mewtwo, you had to go back to Gary. Which
looked like a pain in the ass. I couldn't even get past Bruno on hard, much less touch anything in super hard. So my thing with these games is I don't have the brain power to like plan chains ahead and figure out how to do those. Any chain that I did at any point during any of the streams, be it my 2 streams or the Versus stream, they were all accidental. Every single one. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm bumblefucking around and suddenly I have dropped 7 garbage blocks on Matt. That is how this game goes for me.
I would not really say that I have the brain power to do that either. I just happened to get to a place where I could recognize chains, like things that could be chained together immediately. Like I can't see the potential for chains and then put them together. I can only be like, all right, if I clear this right now, then there will be a chain right here if I move this block. I can think literally 1 step ahead.
I can't even do that. I can think I need to clear something right now and then do. And if, Jesus takes the wheel, Pokemon Jesus takes the wheel and gives me a chain, more power to him.
My biggest problem was like, there would be chains that would just fall into my lap and then I would move a block and ruin the chain.
Yeah, I did have that. I did like do a thing and then realize, shit, that could have been a 4 or shit, that could have been a chain.
I did that constantly.
That was my entire playtime. So yeah, the 1 player is basically just the versus mode, but against a CPU where you go through all of the gym leaders and then Tracy Sketchit for some reason, who's there. And then Richie is a member of the Elite Four, not Lance. Lance and Agatha just both get written out of this game completely.
Because they hadn't appeared in the anime yet.
That is bizarre, but that makes sense. And then it's Bruno and then Lorelei? Or is it Lorelei then Bruno?
Yeah, it's Lorelei then Bruno.
Look, we gotta talk about Lorelei. Why is she hitting on Ash?
Yeah, it's a little weird.
It's a little bizarre. Ash is 10 years old. Lorelei is a grown woman. It made me uncomfortable every time. And then Bruno, I think somebody in your chat described it as Bruno's voice lines being a self-guided meditation CD. Which, yeah, no, they kind of are.
I don't remember seeing that, but I did miss a few things as time was going on.
Yeah, I remember clearly somebody saying that during the Versus stream, because I think I was playing as Bruno.
I'll also say, like, while I'm, like, looking at some things in the VODs, both times that I beat Mewtwo, I feel like I didn't earn the win against Gary immediately beforehand, and, like, his AI just fell apart instead of actually earning it.
Like, the game just decided, man, he's been trying for a while, just give him 1. I doubt there's any mechanic in that game to show mercy, but maybe, I don't know, I'm not a coder man.
No, there's definitely not. The AI just kind of falls apart sometimes. And that's kind of how I beat Mewtwo on super hard. Mewtwo just kind of backed itself into a corner as I got lucky with some garbage blocks.
Which you did that within an hour of starting that stream.
Yeah.
Before I had even gotten home from work, you had already beaten Mewtwo.
Yeah, I don't feel like I super earned the super hard win, because it just feels like I got lucky with the AI being dumb.
I mean, that's what you gotta do with AI. AI is either super dumb, or it reads her inputs. And those are the only 2 things.
Just watch Mewtwo playing during any of the VODs, and like, his only limitation for reaction time is the literal frames it takes to move the cursor.
Yeah, I think, I from what it seems like, not only does difficulty level, like, sort of up the speed and, like, how fast you, like, lose when it gets to the top, it also seems to affect how fast the enemy opponent can go.
Yeah.
Because eventually, when you're on super hard, some of those are like, oh, no human being could ever, like, move with that much precision that fast.
No, absolutely not.
There probably are people that can actually do that, but neither of us are that.
I would not say that there are people that can do that. That was frame perfect.
I don't know.
Like, frame perfect over and over and over and over again.
That's true. Basically, playing on super hard against the AI is essentially playing against a task run sometimes. Essentially. But, yeah. The weird thing about this game is I don't actually think there's a ton to talk about.
Not really. No, that's kind of the thing about an action puzzle game. It's like there's a lot of gameplay you can get out of it, but really, unless you're like super high level and you're prepared to teach people how to play it, there's really nothing you can say about it once you've explained it.
But there are a couple of things that I feel like I can talk about. First of all, the sound design in this game is my actual nightmare. It's a nightmare. I hate it.
Put that voice clip of Kingler in right here.
Sure. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I will. Thank you. I will. Good idea. Look, here's the thing. If you're working on a Nintendo 64 cartridge that does not have a lot of room for voice lines, I have a suggestion for you. Don't use voice lines. Because if you can only record 3 per character in total, that's not enough.
But Joe, I'm gonna win.
I'm gonna be real. The first stream I did, I walked away from that stream with a headache because of the sound design in this game. Like, it's an absolute nightmare. Like, characters could say 2, like, yeah phrases at once, like, layered over each other. When it puts on the reverb, when you get the metal blocks, that somehow sounds like auditory poison when it comes through my headphones.
Well, you saw also for Pokémon Puzzle Challenge when I played that, the sound design for that is somehow worse.
Yeah. Yeah, it sure is. You want to talk about that real quick? Because you did do a quick detour into basically, essentially the Game Boy port, sorta, kinda, of this game.
Kinda.
And it's Pokémon Puzzle League, but it was based on the games instead of being based on the anime, essentially.
Yeah, and it was also, more specifically, based on Johto. Because Pokemon Puzzle Challenge has you going through Johto and fighting the gym leaders in Elite Four there. It kind of has the same setup as Puzzle League, where you are doing a 1v1 and there's garbage blocks going back and forth. But because the Game Boy screen is not able to display 2 characters at once like that, instead, the AI character is just periodically sending garbage blocks your way, and anytime you get combos and chains that would send a garbage block in an actual versus match, instead it just attacks the opponent's health bar.
Yeah, it looked neat. It also, like, the other problem with the size of the Game Boy screen is that, like,
you got a lot less space to work with.
Yeah, it's just, it's more cramped everywhere. You don't really have as much, like, resources to set up chains and stuff like that. I think it was a really interesting thing for you to have done on that stream. I think that was a neat place to go. I was not actually aware that Pokemon Puzzle Challenge existed until then.
Oh, I owned that game back in the day. I had it on a real cartridge. And I did complete 2 full playthroughs. I did one on hard and one on super hard, and then we unlocked Intense, where Intense is the one where the game goes, yeah, we know what we're about to make you do, so you have infinite continues, and you're still not gonna win.
Yeah, that's the most, like, yeah, bitch, we're so sure you can't get through this mode, we got rid of lives.
Yeah, no, that was a very powerful moment.
Like, that's a power move if I've ever heard of one. But, like, so here's the thing, speaking of difficulties, why are the difficulties unlocked through a code in both games?
So from what I remember being told, is that those are the exact classic codes that you use to unlock them in the Super Nintendo version of Panel de Pon that became Tetris Attack. And of course, the Super Nintendo did not have the memory to be able to remember that you unlocked those modes. That's the end of the story. Obviously, we don't have save files on the N64, right?
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not on the cartridge.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
There definitely wasn't a memory card add-on to the N64. 100%.
And we also do have a save file for checkpoints for the One Piece Stadium mode.
Yeah, and it remembers that you unlocked the difficulties after you do it.
Yep.
So why doesn't it just automatically... I get that maybe it's like a neat little reference to the game that it came from. But fuck you. No, just unlock both of them do it. It's just dumb.
It is dumb, I agree. It shouldn't be done that way. Like, I had to figure out, like, what buttons the Virtual Console mapped everything to.
Yeah, which, again, on Wii, I don't think it, like, Wii U has, like, a thing where you can go look at it and be like, this is where the buttons are mapped, and you can even remap them. I don't think Wii Virtual Console has that.
It did not, and it was different between different games.
Of course it was. So, yeah, that was a weird thing. I genuinely, like, alright, maybe it's a, like, nice, cool reference to the original game, but, like, hey, if your reference to the original game makes it actually harder to do the thing, like, is like, blatantly against some kind of quality of life improvement, then it's a bad Easter egg.
Yeah. I don't think that they should have done that. But it's also like, it's whatever, you do it once and it's over.
But you know what else is weird and dumb about this game, though in a good way this time?
A lot of things could be.
The weird 3D level.
Oh, man.
Where it's a cylinder.
Is that so good if it lags? Although, to be fair, it could just be the Virtual Console version, but, like, wow, it was not keeping up.
Only in 2-player.
Oh, no, in single player, it couldn't keep up either.
I don't remember having a problem with it. Maybe I'm just misremembering.
I definitely saw it happening when you were streaming. So, I can confirm it was happening with you, too.
Because that's what half of the spa, which is essentially the closest this game has to, like, a single-player campaign.
There's the marathon mode, but that's marathon, so.
Yeah. And there's also the One Piece Stadium, but, like, that's kind of just... It's just versus, but, like,
yeah.
The spa is, hey, Team Rocket's trying to steal everybody's Pokemon, you have to beat them, and I actually think I liked the spa a little better than doing the head-to-heads. Because the challenge was like, yeah, it's going up at a certain speed, and you have to get rid of all the blocks above this line.
Yeah, and that mode worked off of classic Panel de Pon rules, where getting combos and chains, they gave you stops, which stopped the blocks from moving up for a set amount of time.
Yeah.
And like the more impressive your chain, the longer it would stay frozen.
Yeah, and I liked that. I didn't beat it like you did, because I made it to Giovanni and just couldn't do it.
But you did make it to Giovanni. I
did make it to Giovanni, though. I also didn't beat Butch and Cassidy, but apparently there's like a cutscene that plays when you beat Butch and Cassidy.
Not a lot of people beat Butch and Cassidy.
Yeah, they kind of come out of nowhere and they're insanely fucking hard. I think that idea is very neat, and I know the game Tetrisphere was brought up at some point in one of our chats, and I have actually heard of Tetrisphere. I've never played it, but I've heard of it, which is you're playing Tetris on a 3D sphere, and it was a 64 game. And again, I've never played it, but I have heard the name before.
Yeah, I've also heard of it. Actually, I'm gonna look up footage to see it. Oh wow, this is like a literal sphere.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I am not sure what I am looking at here. I assumed that it would just be like a cylinder, like the 3D mode in Puzzle League. I'm not sure what I'm looking at even.
It's a sphere. It's a weird game. I've never played it. I think I almost bought a cartridge of it at one point, but that's about it. I really don't have anything else to say about this game in general. This one more than any of them, and I feel like I said this in the pre-show too, this one feels like a relic of its time. Because, like, it's got the original 4Kids Pokemon cast, it's got actual, like, they commissioned new animation from the studio to put in the FMVs, which, FMV on the N64, by the way.
Not easy.
Games generally didn't do that. The N64 wasn't good at it.
And, like, this game didn't even come out in Japan.
Yeah.
Like, this was exclusively an English release, which is strange. I don't think Japan got any Panel de Pon game on the 64.
I would assume that is the case. I can't think of another one that's on the 64 in general.
Panel de Pon, as a franchise, is a little dormant right now. There hasn't been a proper Panel de Pon game in a while, but it did just show up in Animal Crossing a couple years ago.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
Like in Animal Crossing New Leaf, in the Welcome Amiibo update, you can just play Panel de Pon, I guess.
Also, some spiritual successors have come out since. I think Pedal Crash is a Panel de Pon clone.
Yeah, there was someone that showed up in my chat during my big Mewtwo grinding stream who told me about a couple. I have not tried any of them yet, but the ones that they recommended are Swap It Showdown, Flip On, and Superplexus. So there has not been an official Panel de Pon in a while, but you can still get your Panel de Pon fix with these games that are like it. And I'm pretty sure at least one of those games is on Switch.
And I don't know if Pedal Crash is actually a Panel de Pon. I just think it is. I only know that game exists because the Baz is in it. So
let me take a look. This looks similar to Panel de Pon, but it's not quite Panel de Pon.
I think it is Panel de Pon inspired at the very least.
Yeah. And this has kind of reminded me, because I did play Pokemon Puzzle League as a kid. This, playing it now reminded me, like, man, Panel de Pon's really good. Mm-hmm. Like, I want to play more Panel de Pon. And it kind of does suck that this game is so far in the past that, like, I sent one of my friends a clip of beating Mewtwo, and he didn't even know what game it was. He had never seen the game before. And it's like, that was someone my age who would have been a kid when it came out.
I had never heard of Pokemon Puzzle League until I bought it on Wii Virtual Console back in, like, 2012.
Yeah, like, I'm surprised that this game isn't as well known as it could be.
Well, at least it's not Dr. Mario 64, where I've yet to see proof that game exists.
Yeah, I agree.
And wasn't just one that you made up in your head and were like, this is probably the name of a game, and then put it on the list. Statistically, a game has to be called this, right? It's got all the parts.
There is no official artwork for Dr. Mario 64 on this earth.
So, I think there's one last thing to talk about for this, and that's the music, which is going to be a weird subject this week, because do you want to tell them where all the fucking music comes from in this game?
You guys ever heard the To Be a Master CD?
Yeah.
Is this the first time that we've talked about music that's on Spotify on Smashterpieces?
No, Final Fantasy VII's on Spotify.
Okay, so this is the second time then.
Yeah. I don't think anything else is.
These are MIDI synths of songs from the To Be a Master CD. But not exclusively from To Be a Master, I think, but mostly from To Be a Master.
And, like, some of them work very well as instrumental songs. Some of them work better as instrumental songs, actually.
Yeah.
I think my main point to that would be Lorelai's theme. Which Lorelai's theme is a remix of, I believe it's called Pokemon Dance Mix?
Yes.
And the lyrics in that song are not great. But this version of the song has like the dun 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 dun, which is like my favorite part of the song. So it takes all the best parts and separates them from the not best parts.
God, it is difficult for me to like decouple my thoughts of any of these songs from not just the To Be a Master CD, but the original cast recording for Pokemon Live, the stage musical.
Yeah. Well, the most important song from that production isn't on the fucking in the game, so fuck it.
There is no Two Perfect Girls.
Two Perfect Girls is not on this soundtrack. That is a fucking travesty. That is why this game gets a 0 out of 10. No other reason. But it also has, it's Gary's theme. And it's an instrumental version of Pokémon World. Pokemon World was, of course, the OP of the Pokemon anime in America during the Orange Islands.
And that one, I'm pretty sure, is not on the To Be a Master CD.
I don't think so. But this, I mean, actually it might be, because remember, Lugia is on the cover of that CD, and...
No, that's not To Be a Master. That's totally Pokemon.
Oh, shit, you're right. Yeah.
Also, Pokemon World isn't on that CD.
Nice. But I really like Pokemon World, but I prefer the movie version, which I can't put in this episode because it'll get pulled down like immediately, I assume. I don't know. I'm not willing to try it, but if that's on Spotify, if you want to hear the best version of Pokemon World, you gotta go listen to the Pokemon 2000.
Is that version on Spotify?
Oh yeah. Movie version of Pokemon Johto is too.
I know that the Pokemon movie 3 soundtrack, which that movie is called Pokemon the Movie 3. That one is on Spotify. I don't think 2000 is. I can't find it. The original version of Pokemon World is on the Pokemon X 10 Years of Pokemon CD. That's on Spotify. Which, why is there such a strange selection of Pokemon music on Spotify?
It's all the stuff from the 4Kids era, when they probably like signed a shit ton of like, that's when they were really, really pushing Pokemon as like a multimedia thing.
And there's the Pokemon movie music collection from 2017. Which, by the way, has the first movie version of the original theme, and also doesn't have Pokemon World. That's
stupid. I want that version, though. That's the best version of the song! But, yeah, whose is Viridian City? I need to find On the Road to Viridian City, baby. Is it Ash?
Ash's is To Be a Master. Brock's is Viridian City.
Okay, yeah, Brock's theme. Because we're on the road to Viridian City. This is probably, we're making it a nightmare to figure out where the gas is supposed to be for where these fucking samples go. But this soundtrack's really weird to talk about, because it's technically all licensed stuff.
Except for the spa music, which has that weird wedding song.
Have a good battle.
Oh, you know what else? I think I like blew your mind at one point when I
like how you just completely sandbagged that mention of the wedding song.
Oh God, yes I did. I think if I remember correctly, I blew your mind. The award music, I asked the chat, does anybody know what this is from? And nobody had the answer. So here's the award music. This is just sort of, I'm going to give you a second, try and figure out where it's from. Matt, what do you think it's from?
No, I remember what it's from.
Okay. Yeah, I blew people's minds by, for some reason, knowing this. It is a MIDI version of Dragonite Takes Flight off of the original score of Pokemon the first movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back. Why do I know that? Just off the top of my head? What a good question. Any other music that stands out?
That one is on Spotify.
It sure is. Because for some reason the score of Mewtwo Strikes Back is on there. I don't have any more music.
Like I said, it's just To Be a Master. Which, To Be a Master is a great CD.
It is. There's one song, actually, that's not from To Be a Master in the, one-player mode. That's Giovanni's theme.
Is this from anything, or is this original?
I think this might be from the anime, specifically. It might just be part of the original soundtrack of the anime.
Oh, yeah, this is just music, from the anime score. It plays in the first episode. Pikachu versus Spearow.
Oh, nice. I did not catch that. I haven't watched that episode in a very long time.
It's on Netflix.
Well, half of it's on Netflix. Half of the Indigo League.
That episode?
Oh, yeah, that episode. I thought you meant all of the Indigo League. It's half the Indigo League is on Netflix. It stops halfway through.
Yeah, the one that is considered in production as the first season.
So, yeah. It's an interesting game. Really weird pick. I'm surprised we've been able to fill half an hour talking about it.
We filled even more time playing it.
Well, you filled even more time playing it.
These were some of the most fun streams I've had, though.
I think that Versus stream was a lot of fun, and I'm glad that the next two games also have the ability to do Versus streams, if we can get those figured out. So I'm very much looking forward to those, but I don't have anything else to say about Pokemon Puzzle League, personally.
No, I don't really either.
So I guess it's time to jump into our next game.
Pokemon Crystal?
I wish. Technically, yes. So, our next game is representing fighter number 19, Pichu. We're finally getting into the thing that Pokemon does. We've played 2 Pokemon games, and neither of them have involved, actual Pokemon battles in any way, shape, or form. Puzzle battles don't count.
But we're finally getting there.
In the 2000 Nintendo 64 game, Pokémon Stadium 2, which is also another relic of a lost era. This is a game that exists for a problem or for a purpose that does not exist anymore. And that's kind of weird to think about. So for anybody that does not know, Pokémon Stadium 2, the Pokemon Stadium games, there were 2 of them on the N64. The first one had the first 151 Pokemon.
Technically, there were 3, but
Were
one
there
of those
3?
was never localized.
Wait, what? I didn't know about that, actually.
So if you are more familiar with Japanese releases, we are playing Pokémon Stadium 3. Pokémon Stadium 1 was never released in the West and only featured around like 80 Pokémon.
I was not aware of that. Interesting. But basically, youngins, there used to be a time, 21 years ago, where if you wanted to see your Pokemon in glorious 3D, you didn't merely have to load up a Pokemon Sword or Shield on your Switch, or a Sun and Moon on your 3DS, or an X and Y on your 3DS, or man, there have been a lot of 3D Pokemon games recently.
Sure have.
You had to go out and buy a Nintendo 64, a copy of Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver, Crystal, and a copy of Pokemon Stadium 2, and also the transfer pack.
PAK.
Yeah, and you would put your that transfer pack into the controller, and you would put your Pokemon cartridge in there, and you'd be able to bring your Pokemon in and use them in Pokemon Stadium 2, where you'd get to see them in glorious N64 era 3D as 3D models. And this was legitimately kind of mind-blowing at the time. Like, Pokemon Snap had already done 3D Pokemon, so like that's not something we never saw. But
by the way, might I add, the original Pokemon Stadium, there was no actual documentation for how the battle system worked when they were porting it to the N64. So this is actually one of those stories about the late great Satoru Iwata. He had to like manually read the source code for Pokemon himself and recreate it in Stadium.
What a legend. So I owned a copy of Pokemon Stadium and Pokemon Stadium 2 as a kid. So here's the thing. We are both doing some form of a crystal run right now. At time of recording, I haven't fucking started. I know you have, but I don't know how far you've gotten.
Not very.
And we are going to build up a team in Crystal. This will be off stream, obviously. And then we're going to take that team into Pokemon Stadium 2, and we're going to climb Gym Leader Castle, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a castle, and you fight all the gym leaders. It's right. It's written on the tin, exactly what it is.
And it retells the story of Gold and Silver. As you go through the gyms, you fight Team Rocket, and then you go to Kanto.
And our goal is to make it to Red. And I really hope... So I have no frame of reference for how much different this game is when you have a team that's not rental Pokemon. Because I've never done that. I did not have a transfer pack as a child. I never had it. Ever.
Well, there is one thing that I know for certain, and it is that the level of the Pokemon that you are fighting are scaled to the highest level Pokemon on your team.
Interesting. And I assume EVs and, like, shit are also going to help a lot. EVs were in Gen 2, right? I'm pretty sure.
Well, yeah, there were 2 new evolutions.
Anyways, so rental Pokemon are a thing in this game, which I think is actually neat. It was my favorite part of the game as a kid, where it just has a list of fucking Pokemon. You can just pick, you can make your team whatever the hell you want.
It's very interesting to me that you managed to get so much fun out of this game without the transfer pack, because the way that I remember this game is that if you didn't have a transfer pack, the game didn't let you do shit.
Oh, the game lets you do plenty of stuff if you don't have a transfer pack. You can still do Gym Leader Castle, you can do Earl's Academy, you can do the Cups. Those are still good.
Yeah, but you're like a second-class citizen, though.
I mean, yeah, basically, all of the rental Pokemon suck. They're terrible. I made it to the Elite Four using only rental Pokemon. I have that cartridge sitting out in my living room right now with that save file.
Have you considered it can be done with rental Pokemon? You were just a child and bad at video games?
I threw myself at the Elite Four so many fucking times. It probably can be done by somebody far smarter than I am. I know that as a kid I did not make it that far, so I at least was able to make it a little bit farther as an adult. But yeah, I used to play this game all the time as a kid. If we can get a versus thing set up, there are a couple options we have, including the minigames. Because the minigames are like, way better than they have any right to be on this Pokemon thing.
Man, you haven't lived until you've played those mini games with your own Pokemon.
You can bring... Wait, what?
That's like I said, man. If you don't have the transfer pack, you're a second-class citizen. And, like, the Pokemon's color palettes are like, slightly different if they have nicknames.
I didn't even know you could bring your own Pokemon into those fucking mini-games.
Yeah!
What the fuck?
And while we're at it, if you have the transfer pack and you plug it in, there is a Game Boy Tower, which is just an emulator to play Pokemon on your TV.
Yeah, and you can also, like, look at your room in 3D. I never got to do either of those things. I didn't have a transfer pack. I think we can milk a month out of this one a lot easier than we could milk a month out of Pokemon Puzzle League. You didn't have a problem with that, obviously, but I did. But there's so much shit that I want to jump into outside of the Gym Leader Castle in this game. I absolutely adore Earl's Academy. It's such a fun way of teaching idiot children how, like, the finer aspects of how the Pokemon battle system works. The Challenge Cup is probably one of my favorite things to attempt in Pokemon Stadium 2. The Challenge Cup is the one where it gives you a team of 6 Pokemon, and then you do a tournament.
Yeah, Pokemon Stadium was like a really legit game. It's like you said at the beginning, it's a game that we don't have the need for anymore. And that's kind of sad, because it's a game that I still want. I still want this side game where you take your team from the main games and load them up into all of this cool stuff.
Yeah, I wish there was space for, like, another game with, like, I love the Challenge Cup, because it's very much like... And, like, did you ever play Earl's Academy in Stadium 2?
I have no memory of it, but I probably did. We've been talking for a long while about this game, by the way. We're gonna tell you, like, half this episode is not about Puzzle League.
Yeah, we should actually cut it after this, but Earl's Academy is essentially, like, you can read up, and it'll explain, like, specific things about the battle system in Pokemon, about specific things like held items, or one-hit KO moves, or stat changes and stuff like that. And then you take a written test on it, because that's the most fun thing you could possibly imagine doing in a video game, is taking a written test about the paragraphs you just read.
Yeah, I agree.
And then it puts you in a battle scenario where you have 6 Pokemon to pick from, and you have to pick the 3 Pokemon that will give you the advantage to win in that battle using the skills you have recently learned. It's very good. It's very well thought out.
Pokemon Stadium 2 is, like, really good.
I'm excited to get to it.
And we're gonna get to it right now.
Well, not right now, but, like, the Thursday after this goes
right up. Now. Immediately. Like, right now.
Anyways, if you like what you heard and you haven't subscribed yet, hey, you should subscribe to the podcast. And also leave a rating or a review on iTunes or Apple Podcasts or whatever the fuck they call it now. Because none of the other podcast distributors have a rating and review system, and I don't understand why they don't. So, yeah, if you could do that, that would be cool. The more ratings and reviews that our shows have on Apple Music, the higher chance that they might throw this podcast in front of the eyes of somebody else who might like it.
That's good for us.
Otherwise, you can follow me at the Debaga on Twitter. You can follow Matt at Grimace2Menace, and you can follow the show specifically at Smashterpieces. That is on Facebook, that is on YouTube, that is on Twitter. You can also follow our editor, who does hero's work, helping these episodes not take 3 million years to come out, and also making sure they sound damn good when they come out. That's Pete Speak Easy. I actually do another show with Peter. If you like the part of this show where we talk about the soundtrack, even though it was weird this week, Peter and I do a show called Original Sound Chat that is basically that.
And next week on Original Sound Chat, Joe's going to be talking about Pokemon Channel.
I am not. Do not make promises that I do not have any intention to keep.
I intend to make you have to keep that promise.
Never. Yeah, that, I believe, is it. You can find this episode and all the others at anondino.squarespace.com. We are brought to you by Anonymous Dinosaur and Nintendo World Report. And with that, my name is Joe.
And my name is Matt.
And we'll see you next time when we start climbing the castle in Pokémon Stadium 2.